Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. It's me again, Rob Marsiglio, with a monthly update for everything happening in Durham Region real estate. Today we are looking at September of 2022. As usual, I want to take you through Pickering, Ajax, Whitby, and Oshawa. I'm going to include Brock, Clarington, Scugog, and Uxbridge as well. This month we'll look at the sales prices with detached homes. We're going to look at what's happening with listing numbers on the freehold side as well as sales numbers, comparing it to what kind of where we were at last year, what's happened so far year to date. I want to warn you, there's going to be some headlines out about increasing prices from month to month. You know, some people may try to use this as an opportunity to buy now, buy, because prices are going back up. There's a few things I'm keeping an eye on that are going to help me make my decision as to when we've maybe hit a bottom. I'll tell you it's not right now, but stick with me later in the video. We'll go through those three things that I am keeping my eyes on. If you enjoy these kind of videos, straight facts each and every week for Durham Region, I'll do a monthly GTA recap as well. I'm going to link that right here for you. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to this channel, turn those notifications on, and maybe share it with a friend who would get good value out of this information. Again, I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to just kind of teach you what is going on in the market right now, what is happening at this point in time, and maybe some indicators you can keep an eye on to help you make a good decision as to when it is time to buy, sell, rent a home, all of the above. As promised, right into our Durham detached median sale prices. So this is for detached homes in Pickering, Ajax, Whitby, and Oshawa. I have labeled where prices are at this month, where they're at last month, and what's going to stand out to you is that Whitby and Oshawa, we're higher in September than we were in August, which is going to lead to maybe these headlines saying, you know, prices have gone up for a couple months in a row now. You better buy before they get away from you. Just like what happened at the beginning of 2022. Much different times nowadays. I don't think we're at risk of that happening at all. But here's where we are. So from the peak, which happened in January/February, depending on what market you're in, you can see where we are at right now. Here is what is happening with those prices on a year-over-year basis. Everybody is down. The reason I want to show you this is, you know, it's not necessarily important to focus on what is happening year to year or month to month, but when people are spinning numbers into, hey, this market is still up year over year, so it's still strong, I just want to show you that real estate does not always go up. Expect these year over year changes to get even bigger going forward, because as you can see, last year around this time is when prices started to go up. So as the baseline goes up, as last year's prices or a year ago's prices continue to go up and we continue to decrease, that year over year change is going to get bigger and will be further in the negative as time goes forward. Just something to be aware of. And now very exciting, making their debuts are Brock, Clarington, Scugog, and Uxbridge. So Brock, we're talking up closer to Lake Simcoe, Beaverton area. We're actually up 5.98% year over year. Clarington, this is your Curtis, your Bowmanville, your Newcastle, down about 11% year over year for the median sale price of a detached home. Scugog, so talking Port Perry here, we're up about 3.3% year over year. And Uxbridge, which is Uxbridge and the areas surrounding, we are down about 18.7%. Stick with me for the sales numbers. You're going to see why these numbers, you know, with the exception of Clarington, where we do some good sales volume, a good number of sales, you know, they don't mean quite as much just because the sample size is so much smaller and can be skewed a lot easier by, you know, a couple big sales, a couple small sales. Now to touch on our freehold listings. So you can see our month-to-month change in listings. The reason I want to highlight month to month in this category is that the fall market is when we see some more inventory usually. And this year we just did not see it. Everybody was actually down from the month prior in the number of new listings hitting the market on the freehold side. Just how much is everybody down? So Whitby and Pickering kind of even, you know, Pickering off by 1 listing, Whitby off by 3 listings, but Oshawa down 10.3% month to month, and Ajax was down 16.8% month to the next month. Now to the new 4 one more time for new freehold listings. Down in Brock, down in Clarington, which is our biggest sample size that we have, by 11.6%. Uxbridge, a big jump, but a big jump from a small number in August. It doesn't take much to move that needle percentage-wise. You know, Brock and Scugog came in kind of right about even from where they were from August to September. Now what is happening with sales in Durham? Here's the freehold numbers. Big drop in Oshawa of 60 sales from August to September. Whitby, Ajax and Pickering also seeing some decreases from month to month. Wanted to break this one down for you from a historical perspective in terms of what happened last year at this time in the market. And it's kind of stayed pretty steady with where we've been all year. A big drop from last September in Oshawa of almost 40%, whereas everywhere else we're sticking kind of around that year-to-date trend that we've been seeing of around 30%. So, 32%, 35%, 34% in Whitby. Year-to-date, though, from January to the end of September for 2021 to 2022, we've been trending about 30% less in total sales happening across the board. Seeing similar slowdowns in those other markets that we talked about, your Brock, Clarington, and Scugog, down anywhere from 23 to 33%, whereas Uxbridge, again, small sample size alert, had 19 sales last September, 23 sales this September. That makes up a 21% increase, but again, it's only a difference of 4 sales. Call them pretty much flat year to year. That's what's going on with prices, with listings, and with sales. You can see that we didn't have the flurry of the fall market that we kind of usually do. That increase in inventory, that increase in sales activity didn't happen this year. Prices, again, like I said, beware. You may see some headlines that prices are bouncing back. 1 or 2 months does not make a trend. Let's keep an eye on these numbers going forward. But now, as promised, I want to jump into the few things that I'm keeping an eye on. It's 3 things specifically that I'm keeping an eye on to kind of let me know when will prices either come down, go up a bit, and maybe even stay steady. And the first is this days on market number. So for freehold homes, you can see that we have kind of started to level off. Prices really took a big decline from February to around July, to call it roughly. And you can see here that July is right around when these days on market started to stabilize, started to crest in our major markets. So keep my eye on this number on a weekly basis. I'll kind of do the rolling averages of days on market just to see how it's trending. If I start to see this number increase more, it's an indication that prices will probably come down. It stays pretty steady. The market has kind of found a balance or a plateau for now. Here's the second metric we're keeping an eye on, and it's months of inventory. Prices started plateauing in July, roughly, we said. Same as with days on market. Coincides nicely to when months of inventory really peaked in Durham Region. So we've seen months of inventory decrease as prices stayed plateaued. My thought is that if they continue to increase, though, it could be a sign that prices will come down some more. So we'll look for this number to stay pretty stabilized once again. And here are the 2 factors that are going to influence our months of inventory. I guess the easy way to think about it is the bigger the gap is between these 2 lines, the kind of more months of inventory you'll have. So if we start to see these diverge a little more for whatever reason, sales dropping off, active listings or active inventory building up, that's a sign that prices will be on the decline as well. Those are the 2 kind of real estate metrics I'm focusing on, but there's one more metric that I think is even more important that is going to really be the overarching theme of everything, and that is interest rates. So what is the plan for interest rates going forward? Well, according to this article in the Financial Post on Thursday, Tiff Macklin did a talk on Thursday where he said that the Bank of Canada is going to remain firmly on an interest rate hiking path amid worries about elevated domestic price pressures and inflation expectations becoming entrenched. So if you had questions in your mind as to whether the Bank of Canada was going to pivot and hold rates or maybe start cutting rates anytime soon, I think what Tiff just said here is that for the foreseeable future, we are on a rate hiking path, as we've talked about in the past. As rates go up, the price of real estate, the value of real estate in the GTA comes down because we are such a highly levered housing market. That's everything I have for you this month. Please let me know in the comments below. What do you think is going to happen in the near term? Are we going to hold steady with prices for the rest of the year? Will we see declines? Will we see an increase in prices? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what it is you're thinking. And if you would like to book a call, please Calendly link direct to my calendars in the description of this video. I'm happy to talk to you about your home, your neighborhood, your town, all things real estate Durham region and beyond. So please don't hesitate to book that call. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Until we speak again next time, please stay safe and cheers.